Hello, this is my video response to the post by Rast about addictive or compulsive learning and addictive personality. My response would be absolutely yes. As an INTP, I find myself getting extremely addicted to certain, I guess, topics, subtopics that I get interested in, and then pursuing those almost until utter exhaustion, and then abandoning them for quite some time, and then moving on to the next thing. I guess I'm kind of like a intellectual butterfly or vampire bat. I don't know what to call it. For example, and it's not even intellectual topics either. It'll be music that I like. This is particularly relevant as well to fan culture. As a fan, as someone who identifies as being in a fandom, who isn't, right? It can happen that I spend a lot of time just devoted to pursuing my interest in that fandom, looking up fan art, fan fiction, all of that, and then I'll suddenly just be done, and then I have to go on to the next thing. When I was in school, during my master's program, I was like that on certain topics that interested me and that I really needed to understand because I was interested in them, not necessarily because they were helpful for my thesis or for the research papers I needed to be writing or for the conference papers that I needed to be preparing, but just because I had this insatiable need to consume as much information as possible about them. So I just wallow in that particular topic, and I think one of the motivations for that was that, or it is currently still because it's ongoing, is that I very rarely find things, topics, experiences that are both pleasantly intellectually stimulating and pleasantly emotionally stimulating in ways that both I can handle and that aren't overwhelming. So when I find one of those things, whether it's a song that really gets at me and it allows my brain to just gel and go nuts and go crazy and run in really happy little circles around one particular very small track, and also it feels like a clarification of my emotions and helps me make sense of what I'm feeling at that moment, I tend to just kind of wallow in it and sort of suck up all the feels that are possible to get from that experience, as long as humanly possible. And then once I have, I guess, felt all I could feel or thought all I could think about that topic, I'd have to move on to something else and I'd abandon it. And I think this is one reason, because I'm currently out on hiatus from academia, unfortunately, not by my choice, but because of circumstances. Being home and being outside of that high-paced, demanding environment, I've had free time to do or pursue almost whatever I want. And that has been liberating, but it's also been very intimidating and very anxiety-provoking, because I can just delve into whatever I want. There are no consequences, and I can allow myself to just be taken away by any number of things that aren't necessarily helpful to my ongoing need to cultivate my academic expertise, my language skills, my research pool. So now that I'm coming down to a deadline where I have to prepare a conference paper for an academic conference I'm presenting at on Friday, I don't want to do it. I don't want to spend the time to delve back into that material and subject myself to that very intense experience of having to go at it and feel so attached to it and let my brain be consumed by it, because I either have other things, that are higher priority, or as you mentioned, I'm afraid that I'm not able to perform adequately or to give it a 100% of my effort. I have this experience, I think, that many INTPs have when you're studying something, or when you know that you need to be diligently involved in a topic or in a task. It's almost scary the amount of emotional and mental effort that you feel yourself needing to give. And so what happens as an alternative is you shrink away from that and you just kind of dabble in it and give it a half-assed effort, because you know that if you were to do a really good job, it would be all-consuming, and almost in a sense that you've lost control, or you've lost the ability to enjoy other things for a certain amount of time, because all you can do is that one thing. I'm actually like pointing to my paper that's on this table in front of me and staring at me with its little highlighted notes and notations, and it's just too much. It's too much right now, and I'd rather find an experience or a topic that is more, I guess, pleasant to delve into and experience. Pleasant meaning easier, less demanding, and also pleasant meaning without such immediate and physical or real life consequences. When I spend all my time delving into, say, fandom culture or a song that I really like, a few days ago I was just not feeling in my right self, and I listened to that song Sail by AWOL Nation about 58 times on repeat, so it happens. What was I saying? Yeah, when I delve into something that has real life consequences, I start getting, concerned, because wow, there's my devotion to this, my wonderful experience of it, my playing in it, I guess, isn't enough. It's not enough, because I can't just play. I have to be concerned with how others are going to respond. And that's quite scary when all I want to do is play. So I'd rather flit around in supernatural fandom than spend my time crafting a presentation on late antique Coptic aesthetics, because I know that no one's going to criticize my devotion and my playfulness and my ability to enjoy the supernatural fandom. And though, on the other hand, even though I might enjoy late antique Coptic archaeology just as much, I couldn't be seriously criticized for that, and I'd rather delve into one thing that is not going to have any consequences than delve into another, because of that anxiety about having my what is honestly just a love for something criticized. It's like someone coming up to you and saying, well, I agree with your paper, but I have these reservations about it. And while my logical reaction should be, okay, they're providing me with information that I hadn't considered, so they can add this to my pool, and I can work with it, and it's more information, and that's always good. There's also this experience of, well, this is my life, this is my devotion, this is my plaything. And I had so much fun with this, and I enjoyed myself so much, that now this is not enjoyable. Now this is not something I want to spend my time doing. So it's almost like it sucks the joy out of it. So I think this is a lot longer than it should have been. The reason why I get addicted to certain topics or feel consumed by them is because research or studying, for me, it's not necessarily about the outcome. It's not about the product that I churn out at the end of the experience, because the experience is not supposed to end. It's supposed to be, the reason why I get consumed by something is because I like to play in that little thought world for as long as humanly possible, but I get resentful when people tell me that I'm supposed to have an actual product at the end of it. It's like Da Vinci. I call this Da Vinci syndrome. Is he had to be hounded to finish the Last Supper because he painted about 3/4 of it, and he's like, I'm done with this. I want to go do something else because that was fun. It was enjoyable. I like where it's going, but I'm kind of bored with it. And they want me to give it to them, and I don't ever want to give it to them, so I'm gonna procrastinate and go play somewhere else for a little while, so I can come back to this playground a little later, and I don't actually have to give it up, because when you finish, you have to give it up. Thankfully, that's not the reality, but it feels like that sometimes. And I don't know if this is, a concise. It's definitely not a concise response to your question. But, I don't know, a video recorder makes me feel rambly and contemplative, so I hope that's kosher for YouTube. So, anyway, thanks for posing the question, and thanks for all your videos. They're quite pithy and just the right amount of time. So, thanks.